Welcome to Special Times with Peter Filosa. Today, my guest is Jane Ryder, the Commissioner of Massachusetts Department of Developmental Services. I first met her at a VidFin event and recently reconnected with her during the Mass Advocate Standing Strong convention.
Well, it's good to see you, Peter, and I can't tell you how happy I am that we connected and you invited me to be on your show. How long have you been doing this?
I have about eight shows so far, so this will be like 9.
Oh, that's fantastic. Who are some of the other people that have been on your show?
My DDS service coordinator, Mike Robinson, Denise Garlick, my trips boss named Drew Balilis, from Drew's Trips from Plymouth, my house staff, Paul, my Best Buddies program.
I'm in very good company, Peter. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. What is your background and how did you start working for DDS?
I grew up in Worcester. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and my oldest brother, Mark, was born with Down syndrome. So Mark always lived at home with us and grew up, in the same neighborhood, hanging out with the same kids as, we grew up in a normal neighborhood in Worcester. So I've always been interested with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I would have to say Mark was my inspiration to get involved in this field, because I have to tell you, he taught me a lot, kind of how he went through life and so forth. And I thought if there is any way that I could, be part of that, I wanted to be part of that. So a few years back, I applied for a job with DDS. And when I say a few years back, it's actually now 25 years ago. I applied for a job. And at the time, it was running the state-operated group homes up in the northeast part of the state. And, oh, Peter, I just loved that job. I had so much fun. We had over 50 group homes that we oversaw, and it was just a fantastic job. So I did that for quite a long time. Then I got another job up there in the Northeast region as their community systems director. And then back in 2015, Commissioner Elin Howe, who was the commissioner prior, she asked me if I would come to Boston and be her deputy commissioner. So I went to the central office in DDS, and I was Commissioner Howe's deputy commissioner for a few years. And then Commissioner Howe retired. And back in February of 2018, the governor asked me to be commissioner. So I've been commissioner for 4 years now. So that's my background.
What was your path through the department to your current position?
Well, I came up, as they say, through the ranks. And I think that helps me a lot, Peter, in the job I do, because I've seen what it's like, out in the group homes, out in the day programs. And so through my career, I think I've been very fortunate that I've gotten to see services firsthand. And now that I'm commissioner, I think, my experience in really seeing how our services help individuals, I think that has been a big plus in my current job. Peter, if you could have any job in the world, if it was possible to think of your perfect job, what would it be?
I love flowers because they make me happy. And I used to, at my old day program called HMEA in Plainville, I used to work for an enclave called Helping Hands Florist enclave, where I would cut the stems off the flowers and put them in vases with water and sort them and by category and put the flowers in vases with water and took orders over the phone. And yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
I love flowers.
So, and I hope you're telling Josh that that's something that, you would like to.
I told him that, yeah.
Excellent. I was a little bit afraid, Peter. I thought you were going to say you wanted to be commissioner, and I would have to start looking for a job. So,
No, I hope someday I can work in a flower place, like to be like an assistant or do some type of flower job someday down the road.
I think that is perfect, and I bet you they're going to find something for you, Peter. So you're going to be able to do that. That is great.
What do you find most rewarding about your job?
Best part of the job, I tell you, Peter. And you talk about, you and I met at a VinFen event a few years ago. Prior to COVID, 2 years ago, I was able to get out a lot to visit programs like VinFen, to go and visit group homes, to go and visit day programs, to go out and meet folks and to meet families and everything, because I think that is the best way I know how we're doing. Because I can meet people one-on-one like you and, just ask them, what can we do better? And I miss that one-to-one. And unfortunately, like all of us, for the past 2 years, I haven't been able to get around the state. So I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to getting out, because that is the best part of the job, just to meet people, see people, let them, they can then tell me how I can do better in my job. And so hopefully I'm going to get out this spring and start visiting people again.
I hope you and I could meet in person someday down the road.
Oh, don't worry about it, Peter. I'm going to make sure that happens.
What is the hardest thing about your job?
That is such a great question, Peter. I think the hardest part is there's just not enough hours in the day. There is so much to do, so many, I wish that I could just, work around the clock, because there are so many things that we could be doing better, that we could be doing for, folks we support and their families. And, I have a lot of ideas. I've talked to a lot of people. I just want to fix everything and make sure that everybody is getting what they want. So I just need more hours in the day. And that's frustrating to me sometimes, that I can't do more.
Tell us about the residential services and day programs that DDS provides for people with special needs.
So both our residential services and our day programs, I think are very extensive. When you think of our residential programs, we have, group homes that offer, 24 hours, 7 days a week care. We have shared living, where people can go and live with people and individual and families in their own home. We have a lot of folks that still live with their families. We have folks that live on their own. They're very independently. And our day services, we have what we call CBDS, community-based day supports. And we also do employment services, like you're aware of. And I think the biggest part of both our residential programs and our day services is the importance that people live and work and are seen in their communities. And that's the thing I'm most proud of for the agency. I think it's so important for folks to have jobs in the community, to live in neighborhoods, to be out and about, whether it's volunteering or in jobs or whatever they want to do. And that's the key, Peter, I think, in both what we do with residential programs and with our day programs. I think it's so important. Like, I know you have a great relationship with your service coordinator. I want everyone to be able to sit down with their service coordinator and say, this is what I want. This is where I want to live. This is the type of job I want. And I just hope that DDS is able to provide whatever somebody really wants to do, whether it's where they want to live, who they want to live with, and what they want to do in the day. So we've been working hard to just create more options for people. And I think, and it's based on, everybody's different. It's not the same for everybody. So I just hope that whatever DDS offers, that it's about an individual, it's about the person, it's what they want. So those are the type of services that we provide right now.
Does DDS provide family support for individuals who live with their families?
Yes, we do. Peter, we support over 40,000 individuals and their families across the state. And only about 10,000 live in like group homes or shared living. So the majority of the people that we support still live with their families. And our family support program offers a lot of different type of services to make it possible for folks to still live with their families. And a lot of those services include things like, respite. So if a family needs a break, or one of the sons or daughters needs a break, that hopefully we can provide that. But we do whatever we can to make sure that anybody who's still living with their family has whatever they need, because so many families want their sons and daughters to continue to live with them. And we want to make sure that that happens. So our family support system helps a lot of people across the state and make sure they can stay in their family's home.
That would be a dream come true for me to live back in my hometown, Medfield, because living in Rosendale in a city life is not ideal for me.
Well, again, we can talk about that.
I would love to live with my parents again or live near my family, and that'd be a dream come true. How many DDS clients live with their families, and how many live in DDS residential placements?
About 10,000 people live in like group homes or shared living or something, and those are the folks that need a lot more supports than their family can provide. But as the majority of people still live with their families and want to live with their families. But that doesn't say, as their needs change, maybe their family is not able to keep them at home. So we're always continuing to talk to folks and their families just to make sure that we can do whatever to make sure people are safe and happy and be where they want. But most of the people that we help out still live with their families.
I hope someday that Jane, that they could find a group home that's for people that want to live in their hometowns, like Medfield, Dover, and Needham, and Walpole, so I could be closer to home.
Right.
That's what something I've advocated for.
That's I'm sure that's what you want, Peter, and we'll continue to talk to you and see what we can do to help you out to get closer to home.
How many clients are waiting for a group home placement?
The reason people are waiting right now is because of the workforce crisis. So right now we have a number of people that are waiting to go into group homes. And it's not that the group homes aren't there. It's just that the providers like VinFen are having a hard time hiring staff. So I'm hopeful that, as we work through this workforce crisis and providers, agencies can start hiring again, all the folks that are waiting to move into a group home will move into the group home.
What can DDS do to help more group homes open in the community?
Well, it's interesting, Peter. A lot of people right now don't want a group home. And we're talking to a lot of folks and families and looking at different ways that they can live in their communities. And sometimes group homes are not the answer. Some people don't really want to live with people they don't know. You know what I mean? Like you have roommates. Sometimes that doesn't always work out. And some people don't want staff being with them all the time. Some people need it, some people don't. So, it's really individual, so we do what we can to open up group homes, but it's not for everybody and not everybody wants it. So we're really trying to listen and, hopefully help folks live where and with whom and in, what kind of setting that they want. So we're continuing to work on that.
There is a shortage of jobs for people with special needs. What is DDS doing to help DDS clients find jobs in the community?
We want everyone to have a job. Anybody that wants a job, we want to make sure that we do what we can to match them with a good job. You know how I was talking earlier about, there's a workforce crisis. I don't know, Peter, if you've been out to like Market Basket or Home Depot. Everywhere I go, I see a help wanted sign. I think everybody's having a hard time finding workers. So I'm hoping that this is going to give us opportunities for folks in DDS to find good jobs. So even though the workforce crisis is hard, I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to help the folks that really want a job out in the community find a job that they like. So I'm very optimistic about it.
My job person, they're supposed to find me a one-to-one job person to help take me into the community to help me find a job. They have not, ETC and VinFan, DDS promised me they were gonna find me someone, and they have not been able to find me anyone as of yet, to be my one-to-one, to take me into the community to help me find work.
Peter, it's going to happen. I think it's just been really hard to find staff people right now in your agency that helps you. And I they tell you, the one-to-one is going to be the best thing for you. And I'm confident that they're going to find somebody. I think, now that COVID is hopefully, easing up a little bit, more and more people are looking for jobs. And, we're trying our best. We're, getting money out to agencies to pay people better, which I think is going to make a big difference in getting staff. And you're going to get the staff to help you find a job.
You have any questions for me, Jane?
How did you start this TV program, Peter? How did that all start?
I met this nice guy named Brett from Medfield TV at Medfield State Hospital, and I went up to Brett, who was the executive producer of the TV station, and at the time, and I introduced myself, and I told him that I would like to have a TV show with Medfield TV called Special Times with Peter Filosa, and he started coordinating with my mom and over the phone, by email, and I've been doing this TV show ever since.
Do you love it? Do you love doing it, Peter?
Yeah.
You're very, very good at it. I think you're fantastic as an interviewer, I have to tell you. And my other question to you, Peter, I know that, the last 2 years with COVID has been tough. Can you tell me a little bit about how you did in the 2 years while we were going through this time?
I was at my group home for a little while, and then I lived at home for 4 months at a time, during COVID, and I wasn't at my group home in Rosendale at all. I was here for a long time, so.
Right. It was a long 2 years, wasn't it? Because you couldn't go to day program either, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what's next for Peter? Are you planning any vacations, any trips,
I'm going with Drew's trips to Patriots Day, out to breakfast and to the Red Sox game on Patriots Day on Marathon Monday.
Wow.
I'm going there April 19th to Fenway for the Red Sox game. I'm going to the Bruins game on April 23rd with Drew's trips from Plymouth.
Excellent.
And then my dad's taking me April 15th to see WWE SmackDown at the DCU Center in Worcester.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go May 8th with Drew's trips to WWE WrestleMania presents Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island on May 8th on Mother's Day.
You talked to me about the Red Sox, the Marathon, the Bruins, WrestleMania. What is your favorite sport?
I love my professional wrestling.
It sounds it.
I'm going to 2 wrestling events, SmackDown and the big pay-per-view called WrestleMania Backlash on May 8th on Mother's Day. I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. Isn't it great to be able to go out and do things like this again?
Yeah.
Great, great.
And I hope I'll get to meet you someday in person. And I look forward to whenever that day happens. I would love for you to come to my group home in Rosendale and meet me. Anytime,
Peter, I would be happy to do that. And again, I just want to thank you for inviting me to be on your TV show. This was the best part of my day.
It was an honor to meet you. Thank you, Jane, for joining me today on Special Times. It has been an honor to have you as my guest. Please tune in next time for Special Times with Peter Filosa.
Thank you, Peter. It was a pleasure.